Morning. This is Nelson Soler and the President and CEO of the Latino Chamber of Commerce. We welcome to our annual meeting. People will be joining us through the morning. The meeting starts officially now. We have a great program for you. So I'm going to start sharing the information. So today is the 24th of February, and it's the third annual meeting for the Latino Chamber of Commerce. Today, our plans are to discuss a little bit our mission. We have an excellent guest who continues to get awards and making us proud as Latinos in Wisconsin, Joaquin Altoro, CEO of WIDA. We'll talk a little bit about our accomplishments for last year's. We will define our goals for next year, which are looking great thus far. And then we'll provide you some information regarding our COVID relief and recovery programming. So I'm going to start. As most of you know, I'm Nelson Soler. I'm the president and CEO and one of the founders of the Latino Chamber of Commerce. I'm also the president of the Multicultural Entrepreneur Institute and one of the founders of the Latino Entrepreneur Network of Wisconsin, organizations that work very closely with the Chamber. So the mission of the Chamber is to foster the economic development of Wisconsin by advocating, strengthening, promoting the growth and development of Latino and other minority and emerging enterprises with the goal of providing increased access to capital, business opportunities, job creation, and capacity building programs. And I'm proud to say that we're living our mission on our third year of operations. Our vision from the beginning has been to become a CDFI, a Certified Development Financial Institution, serving Southeastern Wisconsin with a focus on Latino and minority business, development in the 7-county region, Milwaukee, Racine, Kenosha, Waukesha, Ozaukee, Washington, and Walworth. And I'm proud to say that we became a lender last year in May. A little bit about our history, and everybody knows how we started. We started talking in my office 4 years ago. A group of 11 of us, 11 people who typically like founding organizations and planning. We met over a period of 6 months, articulating bylaws, mission. We did a needs assessment, and we conducted 7 focus groups in our service area. Based on that interaction, then we decided what the chamber should look like. And we felt that there was a void in terms of financing and support for Latino enterprises in the region. And we wanted to focus on that. So we articulated from the beginning that we wanted to be a certified development financial institution, which is not something common for a chamber. Initially, to articulate that in the first year or in the inception, we weren't even formed. And those 7 focus groups drove our programming. So our programming is designed based on the input we got received from small businesses in the region. We also have been fundraising for 3.5 years for our loan fund in a very grassroots oriented format, asking people $10 at a time. And we'll talk a little bit more about what we've been able to accomplish with that. So in the pictures, you'll see our 2 biggest supporters have been Lupe Martinez of UMOS, CEO of UMOS, and Andres Gonzalez has been a strong supporter of the chamber from the inception, from Freddie Health System, in addition to the board members that you'll meet through the program. This was our initial board member slot, and when we launched the chamber, we have a very strong relationship with the Mexican consulate. And at the bottom, you see our first big event as an organization, which was a Latino Economic Summit that attracted over 175 business owners and service providers. And you can see the room down there. Throughout this time, we always like to bring a guest speakers to give us some uplifting information, to share information that is happening in our state, in economic development, and other areas. So today we're honored to have our guest speaker, Joaquin Altoro, a person who has been an advocate for small business for a very long time. Had the pleasure to know him for many years since we both had offices on the Latin Quarter. He was on, I think, on First Street, Second Street, and I was on National Avenue and 6th. So Joaquin, I will let you take over from this piece. You're on mute, so you can unmute yourself, and I will go myself on mute so you can speak. Welcome again. Thank you to everybody who's listening and those who are watching us in Facebook.
Buenos dias. Thank you, Nelson. That picture is amazing. It's amazing what quarantine and pandemics can do to you. I'm working from my home here in Milwaukee in Washington Heights, drinking mi cafecito. Look, you can see my little cup, my loteria cup right here. I love loteria. We play loteria with my kids a lot. And the best part is getting my kids to pronounce the words correctly. Spanish, born and raised here in Milwaukee on the South Side. My mother is, she's from Guanajuato, and my father's from Ponce, Puerto Rico. But I was raised in Milwaukee at a time when it was not, the word is apropos, not cool, and actually kind of sometimes not safe to be speaking Spanish, very unfortunately, through the 60s and the civil rights. And so I was raised not speaking too much Spanish, but my mom put me in MPS schools in let's say bilingual classes, and I learned more and more. And then eventually when I became a young banker, I began to understand that speaking the language was important. So todavía hay una vergüenza de hablar en español, pero yo sé que es importante de tratar y de continuar de aprender de hablar en español. So gracias, Nelson. Pero I'm going to try this in English and con mucho respeto in English. So I thank you, Nelson. I think no question of the fact that Nelson Soler is absolutely one of the largest champions for businesses. I will not just say Latino businesses, for businesses, for small businesses in the state of Wisconsin. Mucho cariño and mucho respeto for el Señor Nelson for the work that he's done. I think even more importantly is the fact that the chamber, as it has grown and has been founded, the purpose why it's here today and the reason why it has grown is because there was a need. The need for Latino businesses to be supported in Milwaukee, eventually throughout the state. And there's an excitement, a groundswell of excitement, the fact that this chamber is growing quickly. I don't know if you all know this, but I've been in the job right now at WIDA. The title is CEO, and very privileged to have this title and to be in leadership at WIDA. I was appointed by Governor Evers almost 2 years ago to be leading effectively and essentially a bank that's almost $3 billion in assets. And it just blows my mind that 2 or 3 years ago that I was working in banking. I've entered almost 30 years now in banking, believe it or not. My compadre Nelson, I think he's been around 30 years or even more than 30 years. So I've been in this in banking for about 30 years. And I remember in advance of being in this position saying, you know, here I'm working at these banks, here I'm working very hard for my communities. Will I ever be in executive leadership in banks? And when I looked across all the banks and saw that there weren't many leaders of color, and especially Latino leaders, is the fact that I thought maybe I wasn't going to be in this position. And I'll be honest with you, I haven't told many people this, and I'll be honest with you all, is that I began to start looking for jobs outside of Wisconsin, because I felt like I put almost 30 years of sweat and tears and equity into my own self to know that I wouldn't get to a point of leadership. And I just wanted that chance. And I want to be very clear about this, is the fact that I give a ton of respect to Governor Evers. I remember the first time when I met with him and sat down, and I sat with him almost a bit with a chip on my shoulder, saying, I'm just talking to him. I'm sure he knows who he's going to choose. I'm going to just be myself and talk to him about what I can do for the state of Wisconsin. And it was a really healthy conversation, because I was myself. I was authentic in my approach. And by the end of that conversation, Governor Evers had said, you know, you have to be the person in this position. And I was like one of those few times without words. And so I will tell folks that from behind the scenes, Governor Evers is a man of his word. He has put out orders that support and is looking very hard at the systemic racism, the issues of diversity, equity, and inclusion in our state. And I hope that you are mindful and watching what is being done by our administration, because it's very important to know that we have ourselves at some of the upper levels, an administration that cares about us and really wants to work. But Governor Evers, I know that he's an honest man. He will admit that he doesn't know everything about the issues of diversity, equity, and inclusion. And let's be honest, we don't also. But he's done a great job at trying to bring as many folks in to help him get at these issues. And so continue to watch, continue to participate, and continue to support, please. I think that's something that's very important as we go forward. Now, as the CEO of WIDA, at 2 years into this, it's been an amazing learning process. I've learned so much about the inner workings of essentially this bank. And I've spent a lot of time, and the truth is, I spent a lot of times inside the machine, understanding how it works. I think that's something that's really important. And I ask respectfully, como familia, como friends, is the fact that I ask you all to listen a little bit through kind of the struggles and the opportunities that I've been through, because I think it will make sense as a business owner, or as a budding business owner, is that I spent literally the last year and a half inside the machine on the business. And sometimes us as business owners, and I was a business owner many years ago, we think it's important to make the donuts, make the whatever the case is, do all the sales, and bringing that revenue in is important. But if you're not spending time on the actual machine itself, the business model itself, and understanding how it works, that will come back and bite you. And I think it's really important. And it's been my privilege to really spend the time in understanding how this machine works internally. In the process of it, I realized that there are things that I could do to adjust to support stuff that was important to me, especially small businesses that were growing, i.e., such as small Latino businesses. WIDA stands for Wisconsin Housing and Economic Development Authority. So I can tell you in a minute or 2 minutes exactly what WIDA does. Number one, we provide dollars to banks so that banks could provide low interest dollars and down payment assistance to first-time homebuyers. In 2019, we did $500 million worth of first-time homebuyer loans, which was nearly 4,000 first-time homebuyers. So that's the first thing we do. The second thing we do is we provide tax credits that help developers build these buildings that have locked in affordable rents. And so, as you all know, and if you don't know, is that housing is critical in the state of Wisconsin. Rents are rising much quicker than our incomes are rising. And so what we do is say, hey, we're going to provide you these tax credits that are going to provide equity to build a building, but you got to keep the rents low and in line with the income in the area in which the building is. And so that is the second thing we do. The third thing we do is the economic development side. Economic development is small business support. And so what we do is work with banks, and we provide them either loan guarantees or we participate with them. And we try to see how we can get them to get over the hump to support you all or small businesses in financing. What I realized on that aspect of WIDA is that we weren't doing a really good job. We weren't having an impact. As a matter of fact, sometimes I think we were competing with SBA. That's the truth. And so I had to think differently about the fact of, and economic development wise, how do we re-evolve our ability to support some of the organizations in the state that are already doing a great job, and support potentially banks. And so I'll tell you early stage some of the work that's happening internally at WIDA around economic development. Number one, we're going to go all in, and we're actively engaged right now in supporting CDFIs. CDFI stands for Community Development Financial Institutions. They are, I would call, essentially kind of like nonprofit banks. To me, they are and have been the savior to so many startup businesses, small businesses, because they don't have to act like banks. They can lend on tougher deals, and they also can provide the technical assistance. I know that our chamber, chambers, I believe, I think we're members, so I could say us. And if not, Nelson, we will make sure that happens quickly, but I believe we're members.
You are.
We are?
Yes, you are.
Gracias. So I could say our Our chamber is in the process and has been on that lending aspect of the side. And so, as you can see, why it's important is the fact that not only can we do some lending, but we can also provide the help along with that. And that's something that's important for that. And so what we're trying to do is how can we to support CDFIs so that they give them the strength to do more. The other thing that we're looking to do, because we play in housing, we play in that aspect, is that we make a lot of people wealthy when it comes to housing. And so what we're trying to do is say, how can we participate in where we make people wealthy in that? All the practitioners of creating housing, how can we diversify that cadre, that amount of people? How can we make sure that we have more developers of color, more Latino developers, more Latino attorneys that are participating in development, more bankers? I just go right down the line. All the people that do that, how can we participate in that? The first place we're stepping into is emerging developers. And we're really working hard at understanding how do we support that. One of the ways we're doing that is we are a monetary supporter of a program called ACRE through LISC, which is a 9-month cohort program that teaches people about development. Nelson, what I'll do is when I'm done is I'll put the link to that in the chat so people can see that. And if you're interested in real estate development, every year there is the ability to sign up for that. We're also trying to think about how do we give dollars and support development through CDFI so our folks can do that better. So you can see what WIDA does. Now, I'd like to end quickly, and I appreciate, again, the opportunity to talk with you, but I wanted to take a couple minutes to talk about leadership, because Nelson and I have talked about this many times over many years about us personally. How do we step up as leaders? And then how do we support Latino leaders in Milwaukee and Wisconsin? Because it's important. We need to be able to step up and be vocal about what we need. We need more CEOs, more business leaders, more politicians, go right down the line, people that have influence and power to help support our agenda as we move this forward. And so I will tell you something that I'm learning in my own leadership is that I love my city and I love Wisconsin, but I always question myself, like, could I be the CEO of a bank? Could I compete on a national level? Yesterday, I was asked to speak at a national conference about racial equity in housing. And I was nervous. I was really nervous. I'll pause right there. Jesse Greenlee just put in the chat, and Jesse, my brother from another mother, works at WIDA. I appreciate him. He just put a link into the actual ACRE program. I was very nervous about speaking about racial equity and housing at a national audience. But then I had to take a moment and be like, Joaquin, your personal learned experience about growing up in Milwaukee, your personal learned experience about leading in Wisconsin, it's important, it's valuable. And people have to understand that there's a lot of work and a lot of barriers that we face as Latinos in Wisconsin that sometimes we might not face in Chicago, LA, Miami, let's go. And so it's important that we build a sense of confidence and we support each other. I walked into that, I came and I spoke to that crowd with a sense of confidence, and I was able to represent us como Latinos in Wisconsin, which was important. So people know that we exist, people know that they can support us. So I ask respectfully to think about your own leadership, support each other. Nelson, as you go through with the chamber, I think it's very important for us to think about the people's businesses and how do we support them. But I'm hoping there's a part and a portion around that. How do we support the person and build their confidence and their internal capacity to do more? And so I will leave it there. And Nelson and everybody, un gran placer. I very much appreciate being a part of this. I feel welcomed and I feel part of the family. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Gracias, Joaquin, for participating today and that uplifting message for all of us. Thank you also for your partnership. I do confirm WIDA is a member and you pay the membership in advance for 2 years. So we will be working for 2 years with you. So let's continue a little bit with what the chamber is doing. We thank Joaquin and his team for supporting us today. So the chamber has a three-pronged initiative. The first initiative that we have is in workforce development. In workforce development, we partner with MATC, and we were able to get what they call a WAT grant, which allowed us to design programs for small business employees in this case. So what the chamber did along with MATC was to create three consortiums, actually three that are active and one that is inactive, the services one. And these consortiums met for a period of a year with in Five Wise, which is a location for one of our members, Team Scythe, and we came out with a needs assessment. So the sector that needed most help fue el sector de construcción, the construction segment. So over a year, construction employees and of the different businesses were able to take classes at MATC in key areas. At the bottom, you can see one of the pictures where we have the students learning how to do blueprint reading. So we deliver for this consortium blueprint reading, OSHA certification with CPR, and basic computer skills. On the OSHA certification, we were able to certify 15 different individuals. Blueprint, we had 17 participants, 3 drop out because it was on the at the time that COVID was coming through, and some individuals didn't have the technology to continue the class remotely. And we concluded our basic computer skills class through MATC as well. So now this year we're moving to the second consortium. In addition to that, we have our lending initiative, which came out a lot through our interaction with small business owners, access to capital. Joaquin touched up a little bit on this. There are not many commercial lenders that are Latino, and there is not a single Latino-led organization that focuses in providing capital to businesses in our region. Okay, our businesses have some unique challenges that relate to cultural acclimation. So we started in this area with our micro lending micro grant program that was launched last May. Thank you to the Greater Milwaukee Foundation. So I can express my thanks so much to Catherine Don, who really has been a partner of my initiatives for many years when she was at the Helen Bader Foundation, and now is at the Greater Milwaukee Foundation, and she has been awesome to us during that time, and still is a key partner to us. So thanks to her, she believed in our idea called Más Fuertes that you can see on the corner. And this idea was a joint program with the Latino Entrepreneurial Network, Latino Entrepreneurial Network providing the assistance and the Chamber providing the lending capacity. So we launched a COVID relief response loan last May. We apply late April. We get the funding about 2.5 weeks, and we deploy 7 days after that. There was no organization during COVID that received funding that was able to implement a lending program that fast. We underwrote it. Our attorney helped us. She's on the line too, Marina Garza Croft. And we were run up and running in 7 days, lending to people. We was unheard of. We were able to deploy $85,000, and we're about to deploy another 15 in round two. We're working with few businesses that still need funding. Just for those who are more in the lending industry to understand what we did, it was a $3,000 relief funding for businesses that didn't qualify for any federal assistance. $1,500 became a grant if the business used the funding for rent or payroll. And the program is still assisting. We still have few uh, monies to give out, and we had some other investors too. Also, we are proud to say that I think in a couple of weeks, our revolving loan fund for capital equipment will be launched. And that has been a long journey for us working with Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation, Milwaukee Economic Development Corporation, and North Shore Bank. MEDC extended us the credit line. We're still in the process of closing, but it's there. We're working together with David and his team. We thank Ashley for doing the groundwork and John. We also working with Sajum at WEDC, and hopefully we get our documents in the next couple of weeks. But the chamber already has, through our different venues, we fundraise $56,000 for our own funds that we're able to lend, with exceptions of the underwriting requirements that we have a portion of that money aside to meet that requirement. But we have that ability now. So we have currently two manufacturing organizations that approach us with equipment needs, and we hope to get them funded by the end of March if everything works out with WDC. We also have a strong partnership with CIBC, who was our partner in crime when the chamber started because we didn't have any lending capacity. So we were referring or our microloans there, and as an alternate lender, they were doing an excellent job. About 22 of the businesses that couldn't get any type of financing has been financed through CIBC, and CIBC has been welcoming contractors who are one of the hardest segments to pair up with a traditional bank. And they also has been supported the Latino Entrepreneur Network and the Chamber Joint Business Accelerator Program that brings in businesses in an 8-week format, and they get training, one-on-one coaching, and develop a growth plan. At the end of the program, once they do their presentation, CIBC provides them with a streamlined process to apply for a credit line, which is only 3 pages, and they lend based on their gross sales. So it's a great program. And the CDFI journey, we're on stage one. As those of you who are more familiar with the process need to understand that it's a long process. I went through it with the Mon Chamber when I was a board member, and it's a long process because it requires you to show lending capacity, and we didn't have lending capacity until last May, so it's going to be almost a year. Our next initiative, sorry, so here are our partners in lending: Milwaukee Economic Development Corp., Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation, North Shore. We also, I'll be remiss if I don't mention the Mont Chamber of Commerce, who has been a great partner to us and we always refer people to their micro lending programs, and our TA assistance organization, the Latino Entrepreneur Network. Technical assisting has been a cornerstone for the chamber to get kicked off, and we were able to partner with North Shore Bank for this portion. North Shore Bank has been helping businesses that are between 500,000 and 1 million through the cash flow management technical assistance program. You can see one of the classes here in Milwaukee. We did classes in Racine, Kenosha, and we have 67 businesses that have participated in the Fort County area. We also have our Más Fuertes business recovery program. Actually, when I did this presentation a month ago, we had 17 seminars. Now we have 27. The program also provides one-on-one coaching for businesses who are struggling during COVID-19. So if you know of businesses that, or you're aware of anybody that's struggling with sales, distribution channels, finding a way to sell their product online, we have resources to assist them. We also have been providing in the office, very selective. We have a very protective environment, uh, payroll protection program, and EIDL assistance with people applying for the program. The city selected our Más Fuertes initiatives to manage the Restart Program 2.0, and we took applications, help people go through applications, did demonstrations online, how to fill out the form, and help them with the audit portion of it. We also were able and selected by WEDC to help with the processing and partly the underwriting for the EMEG Governors Program of the Emergency Minority Grants. So our office with two part-timers processed 243 applications for the entire state. We also partnered with the Stanford Latino Business Initiative. And in the Stanford Business Initiative, we have sent two businesses to that program, Sanchez Painting and Lara Associates, which is a manufacturing facility That program is intended for businesses that are a million plus. And we continue with our LAN CIBC WDC Business Accelerator. On COVID specifically, I gotta mention this because we really reacted real quickly to COVID. So as soon, just to give you an example, when the governor was announcing the closure order or the health order for the state, in 2 hours, two of us were translating it for people. That was Herman Novelli from Enterate and myself. We felt compelled because we're getting hundreds and hundreds of calls of people confused and the information was not in Spanish. I thank the governor office for recognizing after the health order was issued the imperative need of having everything bilingual. And it has been bilingual after that, but that first one we had to translate it simultaneously to assist our business owners. And we've been able to provide the service thanks to the Greater Milwaukee Foundation, Associated Bank, American Family, and the Milwaukee County COVID-19 Relief Fund. So we have to date, and I'm proud to say this, with two part-timers and myself attended 711 businesses via our emergency hotline. Of those businesses, I mentioned to you that we held 243 with the emergency grant for the governor. We are help the Restart 2.0. We receive a lot of calls. I don't know if it was a fluke in the city, but we were listed at the first one, so we got all the calls from all the markets. But it was good. It was a great process. We get to interact with a lot of businesses, meet a lot of interesting people. We connected about 393, and I said over because we continue doing this with direct financial resources. So these are people that got or received some financing, either EIDL, PPP1, PPP2, Restart, EBDC grants, our own program. We receive of those 711 calls, a lot of business owners calls that do not qualify for anything because they haven't formalized their enterprise. And that's something that the chamber needs to work on. And we as a community need to work on continuing providing good information with integrity that can allow these entrepreneurs to formalize their enterprise. We also had a very interesting program with 36 childcare providers, and through a grant and an association called Proveedoras, they approached us if we wanted to partner to do the administration on the grant, distribution, and processing, and we did. So we received $40,000 to provide childcare providers in our community with air quality equipment. So found we procure the equipment. One of our partners, Gima Davila from Proveedoras, deliver. As you can see, a picture on how the pallets arrived to her home. And we still administering the grant. We're helping six more units or six more childcare providers to get their units in the next few weeks. Thanks to the 16th Street Clinic, we distributed 500 face covering for business owners. And I'm proud to say that we kicked off our computer and technology empowerment program last night. I was here late night with some people teaching them how to use Zoom. This is an infographic that shows you what we were able to do with our COVID program. We reached 80,000 individuals, or we have 80,000 unique hits through our seminars and our website. We have, as of yesterday, 27 virtual seminars. Uh, we average more than 120 emails and care calls a month during this period. And we help other people directly or indirectly connect with business resources. The businesses that we had helped with the microloan distribution were 26% were restaurant, which is the obvious industry that has been hurt. Personal services were mostly hair, like beauticians, manicurists that were closed. So there was a service that needed help. Some professional services and 18% contractors. Contractors were not as affected as other businesses because many of them could work from the outside. We also had our initiative of advocacy, and in that we have done a lot as well. You can see Joaquin here also, and you can see Mar Madrid, who was recently appointed to the Biden administration. Both of them were our speakers when we kicked off the first Latino Economic Summit. This is the first on summit that any organization has done that is focused on the Latino perspective. In this on summit, one thing that was characteristic is that over 75% of the participants were business owners. Many of these events, we go and we celebrate each other, and you were looking for the entrepreneurs to attend, and it's just the same service providers. This event flipped the coin on that process. And I'm really glad that we were able to do that. We also were part of the City of Milwaukee Small Business Development Program RFP process. They're doing an RFP to redesign the small business program. We were part of WDC Restart and advocating for ITIN holders to receive resources. And thank you to both organizations because they did allow ITIN holders that were compliant with their taxes and the state to access funding and to translate their materials. We got some interesting words translated, but it worked. It was functional. We also worked with the U.S. Hispanic Chamber of Commerce to write some letters. We were participants to several letters that were sent to Congress. We continue to be a proud member, one of the founders of the Ethnically Diverse Business Coalition. We worked with LULAC and their conference last year. They did their national conference in Milwaukee. We had also worked with the LGBTQ Chamber of Commerce and with the Wisconsin Veteran Chamber of Commerce. We had supported some via letters, some grants that they were applying for. So there's advocacy, and I open it for questions in a minute. We also had the Hispanic Heritage Month, and this was awesome. It was an awesome initiative. We did 4 series showcasing entrepreneurs, Latino leaders in nonprofit, Latino leaders in corporate, Latino leaders in the government sector. Every program averaged at least 1,200 impressions. And the nonprofit feature was picked up by television, and they featured Brianna Sasperez from Layton Boulevard, West Neighbor, now called VIA, as one of the executives that we showcase in the Hispanic Heritage Month series. And this is the last year was the first month or the first time we did that. Our financial empowerment seminars average around 900 people each. And last night, and this is the last part of the programming, we launched our computer literacy program. So this is thank you to Milwaukee Response, which is another program through the Greater Milwaukee Foundation, in which we created this lab. The 10 you see there 10 Google Chrome's computers that were through a grant through MATC, and then through Associated Bank, they gave us a technology grant, so we're able to get the internet, the different services connected, get the projector and the other computers. And now we have a safe environment. You can see the plastic, COVID safe, in which we're training 3 people at a time to ensure that they're literate in Zoom, which was the number one need that many businesses wanted to learn. We have been privileged. We understand the platform, but many small businesses don't know how to use it. We also train in business how to use Facebook and Instagram to promote their services. And my last class is going to be on Google Product Suite. I'm going to share teaching how to use shared drives, share documents, create sheets, and create presentations for the business through this initiative. We also proudly can tell you that the Latino Chamber of Commerce has an office, and that's the picture of the office outside. And this is, we had 2 little offices. We had the computer lab, and next to it, there is an office for the 2 staffers. If you need or you want to join the Latino Chamber of Commerce, I encourage you to do so by calling us at that number. I'm going to do a mini demonstration on the website, but before I do that, I want to thank our board members, Rudy Gutierrez, Alfredo Martin, Ivan Cicla, Amanda Roban, David Kircher, Tim Side, Dr. Wilma Bonaparte, Gabby Benichek, Johanna Jimenez, Alfredo Luna, and Eliana Williams for helping us and helping the staff through this process last year. Also, our 2 staffers, Miguel Villafuerte, membership coordinator, Pablo, and we're looking for a person. So you know anybody that has a bookkeeping, invoicing background, we'll welcome them. One thing that allow us to implement our loan program this year so quickly was help that we received also from WIDA to implement our software. So we're doing our own servicing. We were able to purchase a license for down home solutions, and all the staff has been trained in how to use and service the loan. So we're really happy. I mean, we got that advice from Maisa, the Mon Chamber, when I was working with her. That's the hardest part and the most expensive one. So I went right to get that from the beginning and the get-go. So I want to show you a little bit of the website, and then I'll open the session for questions. Uh, if you haven't been in our website lately, I strongly suggest you do. So I'm gonna go here. So it's our website. We have a COVID resource line in which we keep updated all the resources that are currently available for COVID and business in Spanish and English. We showcase our Más Fuertes program. So if any business is seeking one-on-one technical assistance, we can do it virtually. We can also work in alternate means. So like be working a lot with people over the phone or over WhatsApp, which is the most popular application for Latinos. And then I wanted to call your attention to this part called Herramienta Financiera. So we had developed a financial tool in Spanish and English for businesses during COVID, and a business tool also. So when people come here or a business comes here, they get trained on budgeting, how credit works. There are two videos on that, how buying a house works, and tips for people who are having trouble during COVID. We're waiting for one of to work probably with Eliasad to do the investments and retirement planning, and I did one on reduction of taxes, so and the credits of COVID and how to start a business. So we have done a lot of things. I encourage you to review what we have, and I will open to question Q&A. I see that Rebecca, that I only have physical because it requires a lab. We only have access to a lab in Milwaukee. So currently the program is based out of Milwaukee for the computer literacy program. We don't have the resources to do it in other counties at this time. That doesn't mean we'll not take it when it's potentially when we can this COVID situation ends, take it to other places. So I'm gonna stop talking and I will entertain questions. If you have a question, please raise your hand. As you have seen, the chamber has been doing a lot with little resources, and we're really proud of the work that we have been doing. So Eliezer said he's happy to confirm that he will do the video on retirement planning. That was awesome. I'm really happy that you want to do that. Anybody has any questions or any comments? Just raise your hand. I will give you a microphone. Alfredo Luna raised his hand. Hopefully he can unmute himself. He always have problems with that. So Alfredo, let me find you here. Alfredo, I gave you the microphone, so you need to unmute yourself on your side.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Hey, thank you. I'm sorry that was late. It didn't allow me to get in for some reason or other. Yeah, if I can to open other sites in other areas, if I would like to be a part of that, I just need somebody to work with me, one of the employees that you have there, so we can set up, try to move to get training sites in the Racine, Kenosha area and maybe other areas. I have some contacts that I might be able to get in. I know COVID has been, we've lost some people because of retirement or something else, but we can probably use the same method we use with MATC contracting people, where we can go and try to set up something in Racine and Kenosha, in other areas in our membership area.
Yeah, and thank you for that. The challenge, as I keep telling people, it took us about 2 months to set up the one here because of COVID measurements. And you can only have so many people. You need to buy um, the separations. You need to follow the health order. They're still in Milwaukee, so it is a lot of work to get all the equipment, and it's a lot of work to ensure that the location is conditioned to conduct such training and that people are willing to teach it. So it took me a lot of time to come to terms with myself to start getting people in front of me because I still haven't been vaccinated. I don't want to put myself at risk.
Well,
So we will get there. I just
okay.
want to tell the person who asked, we will get there and we'll figure out ways to get there. So thank you. I thank you, Alfredo, for volunteering to help with that. Any other questions? Any
No,
other
that's it.
comment?
That's it. Gracias.
So my last comment to close this presentation, I'll go back to what I have here, is get involved. We need individuals that really believe in the mission of the chamber. If you haven't joined the chamber, we ask you to join the chamber. We've been fortunate that our key members, prepay membership, Freighter did, WIDA did, Associated Bank, North Shore, US Bank, CIBC, they all come together and say, we know that small businesses or medium-sized businesses might not be able to to pay membership in a year. So they did advance their memberships and we've been able to operate because of that and the grants that we received. We look forward to work with MEDC, WDC, and North Shore on the underwriting of our first two capital equipment loans. And we look forward to continue working with the MUN Chamber, the LGBTQ Chamber, and the veteran chambers who have been great in supporting different initiatives throughout time and supporting our work. I see people are saying goodbye, so I encourage you to join the chamber. We do need your support. Small businesses can join the chamber and they can do a month payment plan for the chamber membership dues. If your organization, and I understand some of you belong to organizations that are big or probably national and they're not going to pay the $2,500 right away, you can also join as a professional. So we created a membership for professional and students to allow individuals who want to get involved and participate to join the chamber. I will check once more. Since I have another question. No, I don't have any other question in the chat. Let's see, Eric Ness, did the chamber get a PPP loan? No, the chamber didn't get a PPP loan yet. At the time the PPP round one came in, we didn't have employees. So we had employees, our first employee starting in March, who was after February, and we didn't qualify for it. We might qualify for PPP two, and that will be a big help, but we did not get a PPP loan. So thank you again. It seems that there are no more questions. I like to keep events to time. It is getting close to 9 a.m. I thank you for the 36 people that joined us today to listen to us and Joaquin's message. I encourage you to get involved with us. I thank the Mon Chamber is here and Maisie is sending messages. So, you have been great, Maisie, to work with you. And we got to thank David Kircher for being a bridge between all the chambers and keeping us working together. And Marjorie Rocker, who's not on the call today, but she has been awesome too. Get involved, join us. We look forward to working with you another year. Um, have a great day. Enjoy your day, work, or wherever you're going to be. Appreciate it. Thanks, Alberto Maldonado. Thanks for joining the chamber too. And looking forward to see all of you on the call. This was videotape, so I will go name by name and send you a special invite to join the chamber. If you want to join the chamber in our website, you hit the membership tab, and right there is the brochure. You can download it, fill it out, and one of us will process that in the office. Thank you again. Have a great day.